I asked why they ignored the no dog sign. It was a Saturday morning, a little after 9. I walked into Corner Bean, my usual spot before my shift, and the second I opened the door, I was staring right into a dog's eyes, hip level, sitting on a chair like it had ordered a scone. My throat tightened right away. I've had a bad dog allergy since I was a kid, not the kind where I sneeze a little, the kind where my eyes swell shut and my chest gets tight if I'm around one too long. I stood in the doorway for a second and looked at the sign taped to the glass. No pets allowed. It's been there since the place opened 2 years ago. I've seen it every single time I've walked in. I didn't say anything right away. I just watched. The dog wasn't wearing a vest, no harness, no patches, not even a leash, just sitting there on a padded chair while the woman fed it whipped cream off her spoon. She let 2 people at the next table pet it too, laughing every time it licked their hands. This wasn't a service animal. It was just her dog, out for a coffee date. I walked over and asked her why she ignored the no pet sign. She didn't even look up from her phone. So I asked again, a little louder, did you miss the sign on the door? That's when she looked at me like I'd spit on her table. She said, I think you should stop harassing me. Harassing her. I'd asked one question, twice, in a normal voice. A guy at the next table leaned over, late 30s, gray Patagonia vest. Hadn't said a word until then. He goes, why is it even an issue, man? Who cares? I told him I cared, and that I don't do well around dogs. He told me not to be a jerk about it and just drop it. I waved him off and said it's not hard to leave your dog at home when a place has a rule against it. Then it was my turn to order, so I stepped up to the counter. My eyes were already itchy, and my throat felt like it was starting to close at the edges, the way it does right before it gets bad. I told the barista, a kid maybe 19, that there was a dog in the shop and I had a real allergy to it. He glanced over at her table and said, oh yeah, she comes in a lot. Then went back to steaming milk like I'd told him the weather was cloudy. I asked if he was going to say anything to her. He shrugged and said it wasn't really his call. By then, my hands had little red bumps rising on them from where I'd wiped my eyes. I sat at the counter and dug my inhaler out of my bag, the one I carry for exactly this, 2 puffs. My chest loosened a little, but my face still felt hot and tight. The woman with the dog was watching me now, arms crossed, telling her table how some guy was making a scene over nothing. That's when a woman in a black apron came out from the back. Older, maybe 50s, name tag said Keller. She must have heard the raised voices, because she came straight to me instead of the dog table. She asked if I was okay, saw my hands, and got quiet for a second. Then she said she was sorry, and handed me a fresh drink she hadn't even rung up, on the house, and asked if I could just let it go for today. I asked her why she wasn't asking the dog to leave instead. She lowered her voice and told me something I wasn't expecting. That woman owns the building, the lease, the parking lot, all of it. She comes in most mornings, and nobody on staff has ever been allowed to say a word to her about the dog, because 6 months ago a barista did, and Keller got a call from her the same afternoon asking why rent might need to go up to cover a new pest problem she'd noticed in the kitchen. Nothing ever came of the rent hike, but nobody said anything to her again after that, so the sign on the door wasn't for her. It was for everybody else. I looked past Keller at the woman, still laughing with her friends, still letting the dog lick whipped cream off a spoon 2 feet from a stack of napkins customers touch all day. Then I looked at the guy in the vest, who was watching all this now with his mouth shut. He didn't have anything to say once he heard why the staff had been rolling over the whole time. Keller kept apologizing, said the coffee was on her, said she hoped I'd still come back. I picked up the cup she'd handed me. It smelled fine, cinnamon, hot milk, the usual. I looked at her and told her I understood completely now, and that I appreciated her being honest with me. Then I walked to the trash can by the door, tipped the full cup upside down, and let it pour out in front of the whole shop. The lid popped off and some of it splattered onto the tile. I set the empty cup on top of the bin, told Keller I hoped the rent stayed reasonable, and walked out the door past the no pets sign one more time. I'm moving to Spotify. Search TurtStories and follow.